We'll have kickoff. We'll have the derby in Kentucky when we come back. Greetings, everybody, from Louisville, Kentucky. It's a massive night in Prinx Tire's USL Cup play. The clash in the Commonwealth as Lou City welcomes Lexington to town with a Commonwealth Cup at stake and, yes, a place in the knockout stages of USL Cup at stake as well. It's all presented by Republic Bank. Sean St. Jacques, Gary Bailey here with you. That's one of the trophies that these two Kentucky combatants will be fighting for here tonight. Of course, also both teams trying to advance into the knockout phase of Prinx Tire's USL Cup action as well. A lot of scenarios that we're going to be keeping you up to date on throughout the night in Group 4. It's going to maybe be a little bit complicated, but as simply as we can put, as we look at the standings here, it's in Louisville's hands. Any result besides a loss in the 90 minutes, Lou City wins the group. They have a tiebreaker on Union Omaha. That's why that is in place. Lexington have to win the game in 90 minutes and then hope that Union Omaha out of USL League One doesn't win in 90 minutes. They are playing Forward Madison, their fellow USL League One combatants. There is a potential path for Detroit, but a lot, I mean a lot, has to happen for them. The only thing they could hope for is a potential wild card spot. Like I said, we'll keep you as up to date as we can on all of those scenarios throughout the evening. The good news is most of the games are kicking off simultaneously. Our players to watch, we start with our Commonwealth Credit Union player to watch for Louisville. It's Jansen Wilson.
Joint top goal scorer there with 3 goals in this competition. And he's a top goal scorer for Lou City in the USL with 5. That puts him 13th in the Golden Boot. On top of that, 8th in chances created in the USL, 7th in crosses. So a fantastically gifted player, impacts the game from a number of different scenarios. And they are delighted to have him back in their starting lineup.
On the other side of things, for Mac Hemmy's Lexington, they've been in really strong form, particularly in the league and in the cup. Marcus Epps has been fantastic.
Leads the competition with 3 assists in the USL. In the league competition, he's 3 goals and 2 assists. Had a goal in the last match in that wonderful 4-1 win away at Tampa Bay Rowdies. He plays wide, but he can also cut inside, score goals, and hold the ball up. A fantastic striker for Lexington SC.
6th all-time meeting in the Commonwealth clash between Louisville and Lexington. Louisville have won the previous 5. Lexington want to write a new chapter in the rivalry's history and do so in their arch rival's own backyard. We'll have lineups, we'll have kickoff, we'll have the derby in Kentucky when we come back.
All across America. Celebrate America with America's best-selling car, Toyota Camry. And take your summer fun nearly 600 miles on a tank of gas. Built with pride in Kentucky since 1988, Camry was named Best Car for the Money for its low cost of ownership. Lease a new 26 Camry now for $319 a month, or get 5.99 APR financing. America drives Toyota Camry. Let's go places.
It's time to turn the volume up on summer. From can't miss concerts to trips you can't forget, plus everything in between. Get ready to experience summer with MyCard. MyCard gives you 3 points for every dollar you spend on transportation and travel, and 1.5 points for everything else, all with no annual fee and no foreign transaction fees. Turn your purchases into extraordinary moments and experience summer with MyCard. Only from Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
Yeah, I've had a friend that was older than me like that before, my dad, but he's not around anymore, and it's really nice to have Anthony to hang out with because he's like a second father figure.
So I spent about 6 months waiting to be involved with my little Isaiah. So our match has been pretty new. I like to try to get to know him more deeply and to try to give him advice from my standpoint because I've been in a lot of places.
Even though I've been with Anthony for a short amount of time, I've learned a lot of things like being kind and just like how to be overall kind to other people.
When I do this for Isaiah, I look at it from the same aspect, or big brothers, big sisters. I want to have a community that is safe for my kids. So we do that through building relationships through our community, and it's through programs like Big Brother, Big Sisters that matters.
Your donation, no matter how small, makes a big difference.
Prinx Tires is proud to be the presenting sponsor of Prinx Tires USL Cup. Built for practical performance and the long haul, Prinx delivers reliability for everyday drivers like you. Visit PrinxTireUSA.com to learn more. Sean and Gary here with you. Starting lineups are brought to you by Ford. Building together, we start with interim coach Simon Burden, the host Louisville.
Just one change from the team that beat Hartford. Jansen Wilson comes in, as we mentioned earlier, top goal scorer for Lou City. He replaces Ray Serrano, who goes to the bench. Muka Kale was on the right-hand side. He moves to the left-hand side. And keep an eye on Kevin Lambert and Taylor David looking to control the midfield for the boys in purple.
On the other side of the coin, Mac Hemmy's Lexington coming off that fantastic win over Tampa Bay, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Absolutely. Why would you want to make any changes? And on top of that, there are 3 former Lou City players returning for the first time with a point to prove. That's goalkeeper Oliver Semle, centre-back Arturo Ordonez, and striker Philip Goodrum. So watch out for their performances tonight. First time back at Lynn Family Stadium.
Well, Lexington have hopped on the I-64 due west, 76 miles. You get to Lynn Family Stadium here in Louisville, Kentucky for the 6th ever Commonwealth Cup clash between Louisville and Lexington. And for the second time, these two clubs meet here in Prinx Tires USL Cup play with a spot in the knockout stages on the line and the Commonwealth Cup hanging in the balance. We are underway. Louisville gets us started. They're in their home purples. They're going from right to left in front of a good crowd here in Louisville, Kentucky. Sean St. Jacques, Manchester United legend, Gary Bailey, our entire crew. Great to have you with us. 5 out of 5. Louisville have beaten Lexington in the series' short history. It's been the status quo in this rivalry. But Mac Hemme told us earlier this week it's a chance to make another statement from Lexington's point of view and to finally get over the hump against their in-state rivals, and more importantly, write a new chapter, a bright new chapter in the Louisville-Lexington rivalry. No better way to do it than in a cup game that means so much to both of these two teams tonight. Joshua Encarnacion is our head referee. He is in red. He gives Louisville a throw on this near side. All Louisville have to do is avoid defeat in the 90 minutes and they win the group. Lexington have to win in the 90 minutes or they are out and they will not progress. Of course, kicking off alongside our game, Union Omaha are playing Forward Madison. That game also matters in this group. Union Omaha will be hoping that Lexington win this game, because then if they win, Union Omaha wins the group as they have the tiebreaker on total wins ahead of Lexington.
Well, it all depends on Lexington winning this game, as you so well explained. And some people might look at that and say, really, coming to Lynn Family Stadium? Well, they went to Tampa Bay Rowdies last match and won 4-1. Not like 1-0, 4-1. They went to El Paso a few weeks earlier and won 4-1. They beat San Antonio, who've been top of the West, and beaten them 2-0 in the last few matches. So they have got some marquee wins behind them to make you think, well, they can do it. You would think anyway, they have a chance of doing it here at Lynn Family Stadium.
Offside flag goes up on this near side. We talked about it. 5 Louisville wins over Lexington in all competitions. Louisville have outscored Lexington in those games 9-2. And they did have a classic clash in Lexington at the end of Prinx Tire's USL Cup play last year. Louisville won it with a couple of late stoppage time goals, but in the end missed out on one of, at the time, 2 wild card spots. At the time, those 2 spots went to Birmingham and eventual champions Hartford. This year, of course, there's only 1 wild card spot available.
For all that history that has been in Lou City's favor, again, you're looking at Lexington's recent form, and they brought some good players, including Philip Goodrum from Lou City, and Arturo Ordonez as well, a former Lou City player. But it's taken a while for it to gel, but now it has begun to gel for Lexington. And again, you don't go to Tampa Bay Rowdies and beat them 4-1 on the home turf without being a really, really impressive side. And they defended that lead well. Yes, Oliver Semle, another former Lou City player, had to make an important penalty save. But that sort of victory, along with, as we mentioned, the San Antonio one as well, this is a team that maybe are looking at those 5 matches, 5 games in which they haven't beaten Lou City and thinking, maybe today is our day.
Taylor Davila, as Louisville are on the front foot here. Jake Morris. Jansen Wilson. 3 goals in the cup coming into tonight, and his shot is blocked away by Rodriguez. Falls kindly for Wilson, and Louisville reset.
And they've spoken about the good job that Mac Hemi is doing there at Lexington in turning this team into what looks like a formidable side. Simon Bird seems to be settling down nicely at Lou City. It's taken a while to replace Danny Cruz and get things going, but if they get to the quarterfinals here, maybe there's a trophy on the line. They're still in good position in the league table. Who knows, they could even still maybe catch Tampa Bay Rowdies. So if Simon Bird wants to make sort of a point, and so as Mac Hemi there as well, both their teams are in a great position.
This match is brought to you by Commonwealth Credit Union. To learn more about how they can help you meet your financial goals, visit WeSeeYouDifferently.com. Both teams in all competitions are coming in 5 in a row unbeaten. And for Lexington, that does tie a club record. Most games in a row without defeat in all competitions. They would set a new club record, of course, if they can get a result tonight, particularly the result that could potentially help them win the group. That game between Forward Madison and Union Omaha has kicked off as well, alongside our game. They're in Wisconsin tonight. We'll keep you up to date on any moving and shaking in that game. And yes, Detroit mathematically does still have a chance at a wild card, so we're keeping an eye on them as well. They kicked off at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, away to Fort Wayne out of USL League One. 34 minutes gone in that game. It's a 0-0 scoreline. And for anyone wondering as far as what Detroit needs to do, well, they need to score a lot of goals, so that's not a good early sign for Danny Dicchio's group, as their chances were already pretty slim even before kickoff. This is played in behind. Xavier Zenge. Oh, he kept it in play, but he fouls Jake Morris in one foul swoop, and it's going to be a free kick for Louisville.
Was it a foul? I thought he won the ball. Jake Morris just trying to shepherd it over the line. So have a look here. Jake Morris is trying to lead it over the line. He wins. I thought he won it fairly, to be honest. Look at it again. Oh, Jake Morris is a touch lucky there, because he was only 6-7 yards away from the goal line there when that ball was won by Zenge.
You wonder if the referee's proximity maybe fails him there, because we have the better angles, obviously, unfortunately, from a head referee standpoint. Got a great look from our crew there that clearly showed that Zenge got the ball. Well, soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of Lou City. Get all your Lou City tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site. SeatGeek, as always, is your ticket to great seats.
There's an interesting sort of technical and tactical battle between these two teams I'm going to be looking at, and that is defensively. Lou City have tightened up. They've conceded a lot of goals this season, but they've had 3 clean sheets in the last 4, and Simon Bird saying we need to focus on that. We know we've got players who can score. We need to give nothing away. So defensively very tight. And Lexington, in beating San Antonio, who were leading the West, or have led the West so far this season for most of it, they allowed San Antonio 0.13 of a goal. Their expected goals is 0.13, which basically is nothing. So you've got 2 teams here that give the opposition very little. They both score goals and they both have quality players, and that is why I'm very curious to see how this actually plays out. It's difficult to call because Lexington have become a team that are good enough to come to Lynn Family Stadium and win, and whether they will remains to be seen, but certainly they have been very impressive under Mac Hemi.
That was a lovely bit of skill from Marcus Epps, who comes into the night leading USL Cup play with 3 assists. He's fouled and wins Lexington a free kick. Sean Toach was the guilty party there. Toach became the first player to reach 350 appearances in the USL Championship playoffs and Cup combined earlier this season, not too long ago, as that's whipped in. Oh, and the header goes over the top of Danny Fondez's goal. The Lou City goalkeeper committed there and didn't get anything on it, and he's a bit fortunate that didn't end up going sideways.
It's a fantastic free kick put into a very dangerous area. Malloy, the captain, putting it in. Goalkeeper comes. Zenge gets there first. If he just takes a little bit of a softer header, more of a flick on as opposed to a full head, that's in the back of the net. And to your point, you're quite correct. Danny Fond is very fortunate there, and that didn't end up in the back of his net. Not an easy one to deal with, that coming off your line, but once you come off your line as a keeper, you've got to get something on the ball.
Danny Fondez, of course, made a key save at Keyworth in the last round of Prinx Tire's USL Cup play in the shootout win over Detroit. That was a big result for Louisville, coming off a 2-2 draw here against Brooklyn in the league, a result that Simon Bird told us afterwards was the worst defensive showing he thought Louisville had put up all year. Since then, of course, Louisville haven't conceded a goal in all competitions. The 1-0 win over Hartford, the 0-0, and then the penalty win away to Detroit in the Cup. Malloy's service is going to be speared away, but it's picked back up by Lexington here. Quick little reshuffle from Brown. Marcus Epps. Toach trying to not let him go, quite literally, and then Rodriguez picks it up, slithers it through for Epps on the byline. Epps floats it into the middle. Good header away by Jake Morris. Picked back up by Aaron Malloy, who stung one in there. It ricochets off of Kevin Lambert, and it's a Lexington corner.
This is a really good start from Lexington. They've been on the front foot, having a go at Lou City. Not many teams do that at Lynn Family Stadium. And they've had a couple of little half chances already. We say they're in fantastic form, and they're showing it in these first 11 or 12 minutes.
Lexington look as they should be, the desperate team here. They have to win this in 90 minutes. Any other result, they're out. Malloy whips in the corner, it's a free header, and Lexington takes the lead! Brodilio Rodriguez wheels away and celebrates! That could be a giant step forward towards progression for Mac Hemi's Lexington. They lead in the derby by a 1-0.
That's a good header, but there's some question marks about the defending from Lou City. That's a corner put in by Malloy. It's got good pace in it, good bend. But in the end, it's a header, a comfortable header with power behind it. Gives Danny Fondes no chance whatsoever. Who is marking Braudilia? Whoever it is, maybe. It could be the captain, Carl Adams, coming a little bit late. Doesn't put enough pressure on him. And so he can get that clean header, pace behind it. And after a very good opening, 12 minutes, they are in the lead.
It's Rodriguez's second goal since his return from loan at One Knoxville in USL League One. Scored once in the league against San Antonio in that 2-0 win. He scores away to Louisville in the cup. Massive first blow, and it goes Lexington's way.
I'm sure there's a few folk at Union Omaha of getting this result now going, hang on a second, maybe we've got a chance of going through. So it really has made this a super exciting night with all sorts of possibilities.
Up the other end, Jake Morris tried to unleash an effort. Zenge blocks. And then gets it back onto this near side. Adams tried to track him down. Oh, odd collision there, nearly involving the referee. Play is allowed to continue on through Marcus Epps. As you might have guessed, that goal obviously potentially puts Louisville towards the chopping block, but results could go Louisville's way. They could still qualify for a wild card even if they lose tonight, but a lot would have to go in their favor. As Lexington are on the prowl again, Rodriguez the target again. This time his header floats out of play.
There's some real problems for Lou City early on here. It's not just the space that the likes of Braudilia Rodriguez is finding in the box, it's the time that the likes of Malloy have to get the ball in. They're picking their areas to land the ball. It's causing all sorts of problems for Danny Fondes and company in defense there for the boys in purple. And it's not often you see teams come to Lynn Family Stadium and create this amount of chaos in the first 15 minutes for the home side.
We've talked about the scenarios for Prinx Tires USL Cup play. Saw a brief glimpse of Simon Bird trying to encourage Louisville, keep them positive. As far as the rivalry trophy, the Commonwealth Cup, is concerned, obviously Louisville control it from winning it last year. The only way Lexington can win that is if they win in 90 minutes and they win by multiple goals to offset the win by Louisville in the league away to Lexington earlier, I think it was week 1 of the regular season. The Open Cup game does not factor in to the aggregate scoreline.
Yes, it was the opening game of the season. I think Aaron Malloy had a cracking goal to put Lexington 1 up. And then, if I'm not mistaken, Mook Akade came onto the pitch and scored the equalizer, and then went and won it from there. So there is Mook Akade. He'll be hoping to do something similar, get in that Lexington box and create some chances.
So far, so good for Mac Hemme, who, of course, was at one point the Lexington women's head coach, then took on the men's job, and then the Lexington women, of course, went on and won the Gainbridge Super League under the tutelage of, at the time when Mac Hemme was there, the assistant coach, now head coach Kosuke Kimura. From a Louisville man, Philip Goodrum. He's clattered into there. Louisville still have possession. Adams for Toch.
It's going to be interesting to see how Philip Goodrum fares against Sean Toch and Carl Adams and even young Brandon Days. They all know him from last season. And sometimes it can get a little bit chippy against players, you know. Sometimes it can be very cordial as well. And of course, they have met already this season in Lexington, but here at Lynn Family Stadium, if you're Philip Goodrum or Arturo Ordonez or Oliver Semler, of course you want to put on a really good show.
Jansen Wilson, oh! What a save by Oliver Semler. The ball by Morris was so precise. but the former Louisville goalkeeper is the one who thwarts them here. Wonderful save for Lexington.
A fantastic left-handed save, got down very, very quickly here. Jake Morris, lovely curling ball in. Jansen Wilson, who is the star player here, just trying to whip it in and probably was going to go in that far corner. Goalkeeper just gets that left hand out, reads it perfectly, tips it around the post.
Louisville go back to work on this far side. Another cross is dug out. It's just out of the reach. And it's touched out for a Louisville throw as they try to turn the early momentum back in their favor. That's played towards the edge of the area. The target looked to be Sam Gleadle. Again, Lexington just get it out of harm's way. Akale is fouled. Louisville free kick. And a perplexed look, I should say, on the face of Jacob Green. Going to be a fifth third bank free kick for Louisville, and it's in a pretty dangerous area. And there's two very, very strong dead ball specialists standing over it. Taylor Davila and the aforementioned Jansen Wilson. Can Louisville hit back? It's Taylor Davila. Oh, it took a bit of an awkward ricochet. And it's going to go out for a 5-5 corner for Louisville on the far side. Well, the first service from Davila came up a bit short. Ooh, and before his second attempt, Joshua Encarnacion did not like something he saw inside the 6-yard box here.
Having a word with Kevin Lambert too is a great addition back in midfield because he has height. He's a danger at these set pieces, along with the likes of Chris Donovan and Sean Tosh, Brandon Dace, Kyle Adams. So a lot of tall players that Lexington have to keep an eye on.
Davila tries again, and it's whipped away very quickly. A couple of underwhelming bits of service there. Gleadle out wide. Oh, he continued his run. Sam Gleadle to the byline. But it is shepherded out of play. Javane Brown does so well there from a Lexington point of view, although Gleadle crashes into the ad boards here, and there's nothing but concrete underneath those.
Javane Brown just showing some concern for Gleadle. Interesting that Javane Brown didn't try and hook the ball away. He tried to see it over the line. It's a risky maneuver. You'd have thought just hook it out, get it away from trouble. But he tries to shield the ball, and in the end, does see it over the line. Sam Gleadle not happy. You can see a bit of blood on his elbow. He's going to have to go on for treatment. Go off rather for treatment and get that seen to.
It was nearly a wonderful bit of play from Louisville. But Brown does his job, and Gleadle needs to be patched up, quite literally, on this near side.
It's interesting, Sam Gleadle, it's his second start, last 2 matches, and Aidan McFadden not fit yet to play, and he got a chance to try and keep that sort of right wing-back slot for his own if he keeps on playing well. Sam Gleadle, obviously, as soon as McFadden's fit, there's going to be huge competition for that position, and Manny Perez is back on the bench, another one who would like to get back on the pitch as a right wing back.
Now, this portion of tonight's match is presented by Toyota and the Kentuckiana Toyota dealers. Here is Rodriguez, who has Lexington ahead. Zenge. Blaine Ferry has been one of the better chance creators we've seen in the USL Championship, particularly this season. Liedl is patched up and back in the fold. And it's a poor Lexington giveaway, and the ricochet allows Louisville to reset in their own half.
Good to see him back and on the pitch there, Sam Liedl. As I said, he's going to have to play well to hold on to that right wing-back role amongst a lot of opposition coming on the bench. That's the thing about Lou City, they're so stacked. There's competition in every spot. And you even look in midfield, Kevin Lambert has come back in. Zach Duncan has dropped to the bench, and against Phoenix, he scored a goal, made another one. You'd have thought he was a shoo-in for the midfield, but that's the battle throughout this team.
A whistle when a yellow card's come out here for Philip Goodrum. He's being held back here by Rodriguez.
Well, I did suggest it could get a little bit chippy between Philip Goodrum and some of the former players, although that's a little bit of a shove. I'm so sure it's a yellow card, though, or worthy of a yellow card, but he's got it.
The yellow cards are presented by Alpha Energy Solutions. First player to receive a booking tonight for either side. Morris stayed with it past two Lexington defenders, finds Wilson. And Wilson's ball into the middle is just about cleared, but Louisville will pick up the pieces through Taylor Davila.
It's interesting rather that Jansen Wilson's playing on the left and Muka Kale on the right. They did suggest at the beginning, when they gave us the lineup, that it would be the other way around. Jansen Wilson has more often than not played on the right-hand side, so interesting to see him. Well, he's played a mix, he's played both, to be honest, but
Morris's ball in is deflected. And in the end, Semle is there again. Looked like Wilson was the target.
yeah, as you mentioned him, it's him who gets on the end of the ball at this near post on this left-hand side. A little bit of a flick there, hoping to get a bit more pace off the ball. It does this quite simple and straightforward for Oliver Semle at the end.
Up the other end for Lexington, that was Firmino. He's swiftly dispossessed. Still no score between Madison and Omaha. If Lexington fans could take a snapshot, this would be the one they'd want. As it stands, Lexington would win the group. Here is Blaine Ferry. Plays it out to that Forest side. It's Jacob Green. Back and forth between him and Ferry. The goal scorer, Rodriguez. Former Louisville man, Ordonez. Brown laid it off. Ferry caught up to by Akale. Louisville trying to keep Lexington out here and push them back over the halfway line, which they do accomplish.
It's turning out to be a very different game for Lou City than the last one against Hartford. There they dominated all the stats. They had 29 touches in the opposition box to Hartford's 6. They had chances to have scored a lot more than the one goal they did score. This match, it's sort of fairly even in terms of shots and possession. Both sides causing trouble, but Lexington have looked more dangerous when they've got into the box. That maybe is a bit of a difference, and of course they have the goal that separates the teams at the moment. So for Lou City, a much different game from the last one at home against Hartford.
Malloy had 2 assists away to Tampa Bay. Didn't score, but my goodness, did he make an impact in that 4-1 win.
Yeah, and he got voted into the team of the week this week, along with Oliver Semlo, who made the penalty save and had a number of good saves throughout that match. And why not? If you can go, as we said at the beginning, you go to Tampa Bay Rowdies and win 4-1 when they are way top of the Eastern Conference and looking like they're going to win the conference. That's a statement away win. As I mentioned earlier, they did it against El Paso away as well, 4-1. It's not often, when you win away from home, you often win by a goal, maybe two, but to score 4 against Tampa Bay Rowdies, wow.
The only other team that's gone to St. Petersburg and Al Lang and beaten Tampa Bay has been Hartford. And I can tell you it wasn't 4-1. It was a much tighter scoreline.
It was 1-0, wasn't it? It was a tight game.
Gleedle into the middle. There's the equalizer from guess who? Guess who? Jansen Wilson. Right on cue. Louisville level. Wilson again. There when they need him most.
Yeah, fantastic move down that right-hand side. No wonder the fans are delighted. Nice tuck away by Jansen Wilson, but good cross coming in from Sam Gleedle. Ball down the line. Sam Gleedle, who's really impressed in this match so far. Head up. He's looking. He threads it perfectly through for Jansen Wilson. And from there, he's just got to rotate his foot, get the right angle just to finish it off into the back of the net. No chance for Oliver Semle. And the boys in purple are back on level terms. And what a cup match we have here today.
That is goal number 4 for Wilson in Prinx Tires USL Cup play. Continues to be right in the thick of the Golden Boot chase there. That's a massive Louisville response and puts Simon Bird's men back on track.
He's some player though, isn't he, Jansen Wilson, giving those stats at the beginning, but in the Golden Boot race he's sitting 13th with 5 goals. And that's coming as a wide player, not necessarily as a striker. 8th in chances created, 7th in crosses, and now the leader in the Prinx Tires goals scored as well. So having a massive impact every which way. What a wonderful player to have in the side, and hasn't started the last couple of games. You can see what a difference he can make. Came on the last game and scored the goal and hit the post to give them a victory against Hartford.
Louisville goals are brought to you by Fireball Whiskey. And you said it, Gary. My gosh, what a first half an hour it's been in this Commonwealth clash. 1 goal each. Here's Wilson again. Tries to overhead kick it to the edge of the 6. Zenge is there. It's out for a Louisville throw. Just can't give him too much space, can you, Jansen Wilson?
Let's not forget the cross as well that came in from Sam Gleedle. He lifted his head. He saw exactly where Jansen Wilson was and got it right on his foot, allowing the striker time to sort of pick the spot, get the angle of his foot right, because the cross was so accurate. Well done, Sam Gleedle.
And most of Sam Gleedle's career has been getting on the end of those kind of crosses, but saw right there that he can certainly provide those moments as well from an assist and chance creation standpoint. Make sure you enter the Prinx Tires USL Cup Game Day Kit Sweepstakes. Chance to win a prize pack up to $2,000. Scan the QR code on screen and enter today. And my goodness, there's a red card here. A straight red card, and I believe it's been given to Philip Goodrum. Mac Hemi cannot believe it. I'll amend that. It's a second yellow that's turned into a red for Goodrum and turned into big, big problems for Lexington. Mac Hemi cannot believe it.
You know what, it's a crazy tackle for Philip Goodrum to go into, bearing in mind he's on a yellow. He crashes in. And that was the first one. That was the first yellow. This is the second. Look, He goes and doesn't get the ball, elbows Mukakala in the face. That's almost, I mean, you called it a direct red immediately. It could very well have been, but it's most certainly a second yellow. And we talked about this being chippy because he's a chippy type of striker, Philip Goodrum, coming here to Lynn Family Stadium. But this is a big error from him to do that. And as much as Mac Hemi might complain about it, I think a yellow card is the least that should be given for that tackle. You're coming in late, you don't get the ball, you smash your elbow into a player opposition's face. That's just a bad tackle all round from Philip Goodrum.
Card is provided by Alpha Energy Solutions. One of the things that's popped up at times about Philip Goodrum and his game, lack of discipline at times. It hasn't been talked about a lot. There are times where he does keep himself in check. There's other times, though, that he's bubbled over in games. It's happened here tonight very quickly. 2 first-half yellows, that's a red, and Lexington are now down to 10 the rest of the way. And here come Louisville again, trying to pounce on it, and they immediately do through Chris Donovan. How quickly Louisville can make you pay for a mistake. Just as quickly as Lexington go down to 10, they're down a goal. Louisville have turned it around, and they lead 2-1.
That's a fantastic strike by Chris Donovan, but there's some question marks about the defending. Maybe they were still sorting out how to play with 10 men, but look at the space that Chris Donovan's got. He's got time to set that up, strikes it beautifully at the near post. There you are, edge of the box, nobody marking you. Only at the very end does a defender come across. Did Oliver Zemle leave a little bit too much to the near post? Hard to say, but beautiful strike from Chris Donovan. And this match has turned on its head in the last 5 minutes. 2 goals for Lou City and a red card. And now the boys in purple are looking like shoo-ins for the next round, the quarterfinals of the USL Cup.
For Chris Donovan, it's his 3rd goal in Prinx Tire's USL Cup play to go along with 4 in the league. And that looked a lot like the old Louisville. You give them any bit of a glimpse, any error, and they tend to magnify it in a massive way. Case and point right there.
And you've hardly mentioned Chris Donovan's name as well. He's been very quiet. I was just thinking he hasn't had much of an impact on the game. But the thing is, he's such a quality striker. And you look, of course, at his career at Philadelphia Union there in the MLS. He's got top class quality, good header of a ball, and as you saw, a very good striker of a ball.
I remember Simon Bird telling us earlier in the season, said they looked at a lot of players they could have brought in Louisville during the offseason. Chris Donovan was at the very top of their list. He has 8 goal-scoring contributions in the league, 4 goals, 4 assists, now 3 in the cup. The returns are looking pretty good.
Oh, absolutely. It would take 2 goals now for Lexington to knock Lou City out of going through to the quarterfinals of the USL Cup. So they're at home at Lynn Family Stadium. They've got the extra player. They would have to concede 2 goals. You've got to think they're in a great position from here on inwards. And what they have done historically, Lou City, is they never let up. They keep on coming at you. So I don't expect them to sit on this lead. I expect them to keep trying to get a 3rd and potentially a 4th goal.
Both Simon Bird, the head coach for Louisville, Mac Hemi, head coach for Lexington. No surprise, they both understood how important this game is for bragging rights in the state, for the Commonwealth Cup, which now Louisville are in very good shape for on aggregate, and of course for a spot in Prinx Tire's USL Cup knockout phase as well. And some of that intensity, some of the heat from that rivalry is certainly rubbed off a bit, particularly in the last 5 minutes or so, as Louisville line up a Wi-Fi corner, really looking to stamp their authority on the half and on the scoreline. Wilson to deliver. He really fizzed it in there. Comes out for a chance here, it's Davila! Difficult technique, he gets a decent amount of velocity on the volley, but it was lacking the accuracy.
Yeah, his first touch when it came to De La Tavla doesn't quite control it in front of him where he wants it. It's behind him, so he's got to step back. Still gets a good strike on it, but if he'd have just controlled it well, then first time he could have stepped forward onto the ball. Who knows what would have happened. But just look back to Philip Goodrum, and yes, you're talking about he has discipline problems, but you've got to control them. And once you're on a yellow, and I thought it was a very soft first yellow, it didn't really feel like a yellow to me, but you're on a yellow. So you can't go flying into tackles. You can't risk getting a second yellow. They need him up front, and he's left his team in a real hole here because of that. And it's just indiscipline from a player who, yes, he does like to get in your face. We've seen him play. He does like to leave his foot in a little bit and upset defenders, but you've also got to know where the line is with that. And today I'm afraid he's overstepped that line, and now his team have been playing fantastically in recent times. Have got a massive battle here.
Jake Morris has been very difficult to handle for Lexington on this near side. They keep sending multiple defenders at him, and he keeps shrugging them off. And I believe Joshua Encarnacion has given Louisville a free kick here. That's Nick Firmino who's down for Lexington.
He gets tripped before Nick Firmino. He gets tripped by Zenge, doesn't he? Have a look there. He gets tripped and he's going down, and then there's a clash of legs there. And poor Nick Firmino comes off second best on that one.
Here is Wilson. Gets it back from Davila. Jansen Wilson shot is deflected. Oh, it was right out in front for Donovan. And he doesn't have the chance to steer it either side of Zemle, who comes up with it. What a chance that was. Now Rodriguez leading Lexington up the other end. Finds Marcus Epps. Epps for Rodriguez. Aaron Malloy sizes it up. Oh, and Fondez just about shovels it wide. That was a bit awkward. It goes out for a Lexington corner.
He's the ideal man, Aaron Malloy, to drive them forward now to try and get this equalizer. Doesn't get closed down, so eventually he puts a shot in which hops off the turf there, off the grass, and up at the goalkeeper, Danny Fondez, who perhaps should try and hold on to it, but nonetheless, at least blocks it. Not always easy sometimes when it skips up off the grass.
Blaine Ferry from the Lexington corner, headed away by Lambert, using that height that we talked about earlier. Lexington will get a throw. Just a massive piece. You said it earlier, Gary, a massive piece for Simon Bird to get back in the fold. Kevin Lambert, obviously his physical attributes, but just the experience that he's had at the USL Championship level, MLS level as well. Massive to have in that midfield setup as Fondez gets there ahead of Nick Firmino on the back end. Morris racing up this near side. Up ahead for Donovan, who's slowed down by Malloy. And then Malloy is fouled by Donovan here. It's a Lexington free kick. Oh, and Chris Donovan is going to be yellow carded as well. Another card brought to you by Alpha Energy Solutions as we get another look.
He's just trying to hold the ball up here, Chris Donovan. It just sort of allows it to come out from being close to his feet. He just puts it out there and allows Aaron Malloy to get in there and toe poke it away. It is a little bit late on Malloy, and now we assume Chris Donovan, having seen what's happened to Philip Goodrum, will be very careful with every tackle from now on.
On July 18th on CBS, the Eastern Conference Showdown sees last year's champions Pittsburgh take on last year's Players' Shield winners in Louisville. Must-watch game between two elite clubs on the massive stage. CBS at noon Eastern on July 18th. That's a big weekend in general for games around the USL Championship, but that one is certainly right at the top of the list in the league.
Kevin Lambert just shaking his head there, saying he didn't think it was a free kick, but it's been given. just think if you're Lexington, to try and get an equalizer from a set piece just before half-time would be their aim.
We do have an update on the other game going on between Madison and Omaha. We'll get to that after this set piece. Aaron Malloy stands over it for Lexington. Whips in a decent ball, and the header is in! Lexington score again! What a response from the 10-man, it's Xavier Zenge, who brings Lexington level. 2-2 game. What a bit of resolve from the boys in green.
Well, that's the second goal now coming from a set piece against Lou City. The defending has to be better. Malloy again with a lovely service. Bends in, drops just there. Brandon Days and Sean Toach both beaten by Xavier Zenge. Not quite sure which one was meant to deal with him, but neither were able to. Nothing that Danny Fernandez can do once that header has come in. Question mark, should the goalkeeper be coming out to the 6-yard box and punching clear? And that's for Danny Fernandez to figure out, but he decides not to come, and then the defenders have to do their job, and they don't. So a second goal from a set piece conceded by Lou City.
What a huge moment for Lexington to try and reignite their hopes here of progression. And it's a late first half hammer blow for Louisville. And now Lexington could be in behind again. Lovely early ball played in for Firmino from Epps. Takes him onto this near side of the area. Firmino goes on, and then he's stood up by Jake Morris. Wonderful defending on the back end.
Well, this is really good play from Lexington. You go a man down, you concede, and go 2-1 down shortly after that. Heads could drop, but they haven't. They've come back. They've been positive. They've got the equalizer, and they've countered there with great pace. So good in transition. It really is an impressive performance by Lexington on the road here at Lynn Family Stadium.
Particularly down to 10. That's a huge moment for Lexington to get it back to level terms. And now Epps wins it back again here on the far side. Well, this latest Commonwealth clash has had just about everything. We haven't even finished the opening half. Malloy. Marcus Epps again approaching stoppage time here at the end of the half. Goes all the way back to Zemle. Of course, has made a couple of big saves. 4 added minutes remaining. That's presented by the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Well, fans, when Lou City wins, you win. This season, Lou City's partnered with local Taco Bell franchises to give out a free taco if Lou City wins. No purchase necessary. The offer is valid the following day after a win. Head to any participating Kentucky area Taco Bell location to redeem and mention that Lou City has one taco per person per win in store only. Here is Kyle Adams. Now the youngster, Brandon Days. For the veteran, Sean Toach. Fed through for Taylor Davila. Gets it back from Lambert. Blocked on the edge of the area, pinballed around. Lexington cleared only as far as Adams. Louisville still on the hunt here. Wilson. Jake Morris across. Oh, it just needed a touch. Donovan was the closest one to it. Could not apply the finishing touch in the end. And then Louisville gets a free kick on the back end, of foul against Marcus Epps.
Oh, that was inches away from Chris Donovan, getting that ball in the back of the net. Really good move down that left-hand side for Lou City. You can see Mac Hemi's not happy. He must be worried as well, and probably thinking there, how do we stop the likes of Jake Morris and Jansen Wilson coming down that left-hand side, but so close, Chris Donovan, to a little toe poke in there from the near post.
Just under 2 minutes at a minimum left. First half stoppage time. Referee says that Louisville were about to take that from the wrong position. Backed up a few yards up against that far sideline. Wilson and Davila trying to find someone in purple in the penalty area. It's whipped in. Oh, Adams flicks it on. Handball appeals come in from the Louisville players. Was it off of Malloy's hand there? Joshua Encarnacion had a look at it, says no penalty.
It would have been a harsh penalty. When the ball's flicked on and you're only a few yards away, you haven't got time to move. As long as your arm isn't way out looking to block the ball, they're very, very rarely given. Would have been extremely harsh.
Great effort initially there by Gleadle, but Rodriguez restores possession for Lexington, at least for the moment.
You were about to tell us a score a few minutes ago.
That was a few minutes ago. You're right.
All waiting to hear.
The score is Forward Madison 2, Union Omaha 1.
Wow.
That is obviously very, very bad news for Omaha. It is pretty good news for Lexington at the moment. They just got into the halftime break. It's 2-1 Forward Madison at the break.
So one more goal from Lexington in this match, and they would be in the quarterfinals.
Absolutely right.
Well, we thought it would be a great cup match. 2-2 halftime, one red card already. It is turning out to be a fantastic game.
Morris whips that into the middle. The central header's for Wilson. Oh! You would have bet money on him to score that. He puts it just wide of the target as the first half comes to a close. You can't take your eyes off it at the moment. 2-2 at the half. What is going to happen in the second half?
That's a great chance for Jansen Wilson. He can't believe he's missed the target. Maybe he was trying to tuck it in the far corner. Sometimes in those situations, just get it on target and see what happens. But as the sun sets on that first half, wow, great entertainment. Wonderful moments from this man in particular, Jansen Wilson. The big question is, can Lexington come back second half with only 10 players and get that extra goal they need?
What a seesaw first half in Prinx Tire's USL Cup play. Both teams led in that first half. We're tied at 2 going into the halftime break. Lexington down to 10 men here in Group 4. We'll step aside. We'll look around the rest of USL Cup when we come back. We've got a great one brewing here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. 2-2. We're tied at the break.
It's time to power up your old checking account. That's why Commonwealth Credit Union created Power Checking. This incredible all-in-one account powers your spending and with built-in high-yield savings, grows your balance at the same time. Plus, as your balance gets higher, so does your rate, up to 3% APY. Grow your money with no limits, just unparalleled benefits.
That's 2 out of 3.
Let's go.
Get to the next level with Power Checking, only from Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
Artificial intelligence can show you almost anything in seconds, but have you ever stopped to think, where does it get its answers? AI doesn't have people speaking up at JCPS board meetings, it's not in front of the mayor at every press conference, and it sure doesn't know our community like we do. AI is a tool, not a witness. Before the algorithm learns it, we live it. Start with WDRB News at 5.
Celebrate America with America's best-selling SUV, Toyota RAV4. And there's a lot to celebrate. This new RAV4 is totally redesigned, totally hybrid, to deliver more power and better efficiency than ever before. And take your summer adventures over 600 miles on a tank of gas. Lease a new RAV4 now for $329 a month, or get 5.99 APR financing. America drives Toyota RAV4. Let's go places.
Well, halftime here in Kentucky. What a game so far. Louisville and Lexington, the arch rivals here from the Commonwealth, locked at a 2-2 scoreline. Can't wait to see how the second half plays out here at Lynn Family Stadium. We'll step aside, more coming up after another quick break.
When Hartford Athletics' Adrian Deespay scored in the 83rd minute against Rhode Island FC, it began a furious finish to the 2025 USL Cup group stage finales. Deespay's goal kept Hartford alive in the race to advance in the competition as a wild card. Less than 10 minutes later in Detroit, Matt Sheldon capped Detroit City's 3-0 win over Westchester SC, taking that wild card away from Hartford. Minutes later in Kentucky, Louisville City's Jake Morris scored twice in added time to defeat Lexington SC 2-1. Louisville was now the owner of the wild card, but not for long. Back in Pawtucket, Hartford outlasted Rhode Island in a penalty kick shootout. Hartford Athletic reclaimed the wild card spot that two other clubs held for mere minutes. So how did we get here? Well, after 4 group stage matches, Hartford Athletic and Louisville City were tied with 9 points. The first tiebreaker, total goals. Hartford scored 9, Louisville had 8. And that wild card spot launched Hartford's run to the USL Cup title. This year's Cup promises even more drama. 42 clubs in the USL Championship and League One will form 7 groups filled out by region. Each club will play 4 group matches, and when the dust settles, the 7 group winners will advance along with 1 wild card team, not 2 wild cards like last year. The remaining 8 clubs will be drawn into 4 quarterfinal matches with 1 stipulation. The wild card cannot be drawn against its group winner. The 4 quarterfinal winners will then be drawn for the semifinal round, with the 2 finalists drawn to determine the host for the Prinx Tires USL Cup final. Two champions loaded with USL history. Louisville City raised last year's Players' Shield, but the Pittsburgh Riverhounds took home the USL title. Contenders collide. Pittsburgh Riverhounds and Louisville City, Saturday, July 18th at noon Eastern on CBS.
Prinx tires in the USL help soccer journeys everywhere to drive harder. From city playgrounds to suburban sidelines, from early mornings to late nights, from fun with friends to winner takes all, from the biggest fan to the biggest heart. And at every turn, Prinx tires will be there for the long haul.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
Today, we accomplished nothing. I mean it, not a thing. And it was kind of everything.
This summer, get 1,000 bonus points and a chance to win 250,000 bonus points.
America drives Toyota.
The #1 selling retail brand for the past 14 years.
Led by the best-selling Toyota Tacoma, the perfect size truck for all your summer fun.
And Tacoma holds its value better than anything in its class, saving you in the long run.
Lease this well-equipped new Tacoma SR5 for just $339 a month. Or get 4.99 APR financing plus up to $1,000 APR cash on a Tacoma.
America drives Toyota Tacoma. Let's go places.
Halftime here in Louisville. What a game brewing here in Prinx Tires USL Cup play. Lou City and Lexington tied up at 2 with the Commonwealth Cup and a knockout stage place in USL Cup at stake. Cannot wait to see how the second 45 is going to play out in this in-state rivalry. Lots of games to keep an eye on. Final day of group stage play in Prinx Tires USL Cup action. Some of the games that have already gone final. Spokane Velocity out of USL League One. Big win for them to stay in the hunt in Group 1. They go to Oakland, they win. Hartford wins over Westchester, the defending champions, with that win their group as well, which means Rhode Island and Brooklyn, also in that group, are trying to fight to win that game and maybe still be in the hunt for a wild card. We're keeping an eye on Detroit and Fort Wayne in our group. That's at a 0-0 scoreline. Detroit in very, very dire straits at the moment. Halftime in Wisconsin, 2-1. Madison leading Omaha. That's great news for Lexington. If they can go on and win this game over Louisville in the second half, that would be the path that they need to win the group. 1-1 Tulsa Birmingham. The Rowdies have already won their group. They lead 2-0 over FC Naples. Miami is up big at the moment in that group. They could have the inside track at the wild card, pending results elsewhere. Upcoming schedule later on tonight. The Derby del Camino Real, El Paso and New Mexico, both teams need to have it. Sacramento needs to win away to Athletic Club Boise in their group. The Switchbacks are already through. They play Orange County. ESPN 2, San Antonio, they still need to take care of business. They take on Chattanooga. Other games to keep an eye on later on tonight. Monterey Bay and Vegas. Phoenix go away to AV Alta, who have already beaten Orange County in Prinx Tires USL Cup play. Plenty of action to take you through the rest of the night in Prinx Tires USL Cup action on the final day of the group stage. We'll step aside for the moment. We'll come back. First half highlights, stats, and the second half kick.
It is halftime in the Prinx Tires USL Cup. We hope you're enjoying the match so far. I'm Dan Lucas inside the USL studio with a look at some of the headlines. Last week in the championship, New Mexico United extended its league unbeaten streak to 5 matches with a 2-1 victory over Oakland Roots in front of more than 14,800 fans, the 4th largest crowd in franchise history. New Mexico's Christian Nava scored his first goal since the 2022 season, a remarkable comeback for a player that battled through 2 knee injuries over a 2-year period. Tonight, we close out group play in the Prinx Tires USL Cup, and 8 clubs will head to the quarterfinals. You can watch that quarterfinal draw on the USL's YouTube channel on Monday the 13th at 1:00 p.m. Eastern. USL is also gearing up for a national TV audience on Saturday the 18th. The title holders in the championship, Pittsburgh Riverhounds, host last season's Player Shield winners, Louisville City. That's a noon Eastern kickoff on CBS. And 2 more matches on CBS Sports Net. Sporting Jacks and Pittsburgh on the 15th. 2 days later, it's AC Boise and Portland Hearts of Pine. This is the USL Studio Halftime Update. I'm Dan Lucas. Now let's get you back out to your match.
Breakfast is almost ready.
It's a place we've all heard of and somewhere we all deserve to be. The destination is located just beyond simply living, into the land known as thriving. And the opportunities to get there are all around us. Sometimes we just need a little help finding our way.
Kyle? Hey, welcome back.
Fortunately, we know the directions. Republic Bank, time to thrive.
All across America.
America drives Toyota.
And for summer fun, nobody builds better trucks than Toyota.
Including the best-in-class Toyota Tundra.
With the power and capability to do it all.
Designed, engineered, and built in the USA.
Now lease a new 26 Tundra for $499 a month.
Or get 2.99 APR financing with no-cost maintenance included.
America drives Toyota Tundra. Let's go places.
Relax and let Kroger Pickup handle your grocery shopping this week. We start with only the freshest items, then choose your favorites, carefully pack everything up, and load it right into your trunk. So you can feel confident it's what you ordered. Fresh groceries your way with Kroger Pickup and Delivery. And right now, you can save $20 on your first pickup or delivery order. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Toyota gives you more electrified hybrid choices than anyone else, including the hybrid that started it all, the iconic Prius, which you can lease for just $309 a month. Toyota's electrified lineup also includes all new battery electric vehicles like the longer-range BZ, the BZ Woodland SUV, and the powerful CHR crossover. Now get any new 26 BZ or BZ Woodland with 0% APR financing. That's the power of choice. From Toyota, let's go places.
And the long haul. Prinx delivers reliability for everyday drivers like you. Visit PrinxTireUSA.com to learn more. Sean St. Jacques, Gary Bailey here with you. Everyone young and old wanted to tune into this one. Really good first half in the derby between Louisville and Lexington here with the Commonwealth Cup on the line. Place in the quarterfinals on the line in Prinx Tire's USL Cup action. Game is tied going into the halftime break. First half highlights between these two, sixth all-time meeting in all competitions between Louisville and Lexington. And it was Lexington who struck first.
Braudelio Rodriguez with a header straight from the corner from Aaron Malloy. Nobody really marking him. Gets a clean header, nothing that Danny Fernandez can do about it. And that was after a great start from Lexington in the first 10 or 15 minutes.
Louisville bounced back. Gleedle to Wilson for the equalizer.
Lovely ball in from Gleedle. Jansen Wilson doesn't have to change his run. He's simply got to guide that foot. Look at Gleedle, head up. He's looking, and again, and he's just weighing it up. Puts it in perfectly. Jansen Wilson, brilliant there from 6 yards out. Perfect touch.
Then a couple of minutes after that, Philip Goodrum, who had already been booked, picks up a second yellow. Red card, Lexington down to 10.
It's an absolute yellow. It's a dangerous elbow in the face there of Mukakale. And then from here, who is marking? Chris Donovan. And then he still strikes it well. Be fair, he's caught it with the left foot superbly, but all that space in the box, and that was just minutes after the red card.
You thought Louisville were going to take that momentum into the half. Up stepped Xavier Zenge for Lexington off another Malloy assist to tie it.
That's a great free kick in from Malloy. Headed on the 6-yard box there, so could the keeper have come? Maybe, maybe not.
Another check on the clinching scenarios here. Remember, as long as Louisville doesn't lose in the 90 minutes, they win the group. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. The good news for Lexington, yes, the game is tied, but at the moment, Omaha are losing away to Forward Madison at the moment. If that holds up, all Lexington have to do is win in 90 minutes, and they win the group, and they advance into the knockout stages. So there is so much still to sort out in this second half. Sean St. Jacques, Gary Bailey, our entire crew, great to have you with us. What didn't happen in the first 45 minutes? We cannot wait to see how the second 45 will unfold. Louisville did make a halftime change. Miquele Akale withdrawn. Zach Duncan comes in for Simon Bird at the start of the second half.
And that might change their shape. They always seem to play in a 3-4-3, Lou City, but you're taking off a striker and bringing on Zach Duncan in the midfield. So maybe they'll just play two up front with Jansen Wilson and Chris Donovan and have that extra player in midfield, Zach Duncan, just to try and control the game a bit more.
There's the confirmation of that substitution for Louisville. Those subs are brought to you by the Kentucky Lottery. Toch for Davila. Fizzed it across. Oh, that was another good chance. Looked like it was Wilson again who was the target. It was just out of his reach. Fernandez recycles for the hosts.
Just looking at some of the stats there, not much to choose between these two teams in the first half. XG for Louisville just over 1.75 for Lexington. So both teams doing well from a lowish XG to get 2 goals apiece. That's really good. And shots on target, 4 for Lou City, 3 for Lexington. 13 touches in the opposition box for Lou City, just 7 for Lexington. So Not much to choose between the two of them. Of course, the biggest difference is the fact that Philip Goodrum got sent off, and now you're playing with 10 men if you're Lexington, away from home, and you have to score a goal because you have to win this match. So the onus very much on the visitors to do something special in the second half.
Morris tried to cross that into the middle. Big ricochet on that, out of play. Our referee is Joshua Encarnacion tonight. He says it's a Louisville throw on the far side. Long throw from Morris. It bounces awkwardly. Who did it last go off of is the question here. And I believe based on the Lexington reactions here, it's going to be a 5-5 corner for Louisville after Lexington sort of didn't deal with it, really. Now an awkward moment. It goes Louisville's way. We've talked about Louisville's ability to make opposition teams pay when they make a mistake. Wilson whips in the corner, and Semley didn't get a definitive touch on that, but got enough on it to send it out for a throw. Toach from the throw. Place it back for Brandon Days. He gets it back from Jake Morris. Toach tried to make his move on Jacob Green on this near side. Couldn't get past him, settles for a throw. Whipped around for Morris. Wilson comes back, feeds Kyle Adams.
They're sitting very deep, Lexington, in the final third in this low block. Maybe they're hoping to sort of keep it level until the end and then try and go and get a winner. But all those white shirts just in and around the box.
Wilson fits that through a tight window. Hero, and the shot is blocked off the edge. The volley from Wilson is also blocked. Epps tries to control it. Toach comes back, recycles it for Louisville. It opens up for Taylor Davila, who drags his shot wide of Lexington's goal.
Wow, a few chances there for the boys in purple. Nothing going in the back of the net, but if they keep that sort of pressure on, you have to assume they will get the breakthrough eventually. There's a shot here that gets blocked. Another one that gets blocked. And if Lexington's sitting this deep, you're inviting trouble on the edge of the box, and that's what they got there. 3 little efforts on goal from Lou City, none of them going in. But you would think that Lexington will have to get a bit more aggressive in their play, try and push forward and not sit in that low block.
Coming this Monday, July 13th, 1 p.m. Eastern, Prinx Tires USL Cup quarterfinal draw show. USL's Dan Lucas, our buddy, broadcast analyst Devin Kerr will select the matchups for the 7 group winners in the 1 wild card Monday at 1 p.m. It'll be live on the USL's YouTube channel. Who will be there as far as eligible for the draw? He's still very much hanging in the balance at the moment. Here is Gleadle for Louisville, thought about it and then checks it down for Toach. Days for Gleadle. A little give and go here. Gleadle gets back on the end of it from Duncan. Gleadle into the middle. And Semley is there for Lexington.
Good play again from Sam Gleadle. He's really impressed in this match. Gave the ball, went on the run, got pushed and shoved a little bit, but managed to get the cross in. Dangerous cross. Semle does well to grab it. Just Lexington starting off the second half. That ball going out of play. They're very much on the back foot and have conceded a lot of space to Lou City.
Lexington have to win the game in the 90 minutes. Any other result, Lexington are out. No wild card, no nothing. Louisville are on the prowl here. That was floated dangerously into the penalty area. It's over Jansen Wilson's head, out of the reach of Sam Gleadle as well.
Yeah, it's good early pressure from Lou City, and you can see they're thinking you don't want to sit at 2-2 because one moment of magic from Lexington and they finish top and you could be out of the cup. So you want to get another goal, give yourself a little bit of extra cushion. Then Lexington would have to score twice to win the game.
One update that should be mentioned about that: Miami FC are winning comfortably right now away to Sarasota Paradise. They're up 5-0 at the moment with about 10 minutes left. Why is that important? They can only get a wild card spot in that group. Miami would go up to 9 points, which means if Louisville loses the game, they're on 8 and Louisville are out. So that's worth mentioning as far as the jeopardy that still remains, as Mac Hemi is going to make a change here. Blaine Ferry is going to make way, and Michael Adeokun is going to take his place. Another Kentucky Lottery substitution.
So to what you're saying, I just wonder if Mac Hemi has also heard that same information and realizes that they have to win this no matter what. Otherwise they're out. There's no finishing second and getting a wild card place. And the same logic would apply to Simon Bird.
Yeah.
They have to get at least a draw here. So whoever doesn't get the result they want, according to what you're saying with Miami,
Yes.
is out.
Yes, absolutely. That's how it stands right now. That's in the live table. Things can obviously change.
Well, if Miami are 5-0 up, it doesn't seem likely that that is going to change. And so 9 points becomes the best second place, and there only is one of them.
Early ball in behind. Javane Brown got up highest to head that away for Lexington, who continue to try to fend off Louisville attacks here. That switch of play. Toch gets there in front of Marcus Epps. And for those just joining us, Lexington are down to 10 men. Philip Goodrum sent off for 2 first-half yellow cards. Certainly not the return to Louisville that he would have dreamt up in the build-up here.
Absolutely, but it's only his fault. The first yellow, as we said in the first half, was a bit soft. But once you're on a yellow, you can't go flying into tackles. And that's exactly what he did. Elbows up and clattered into Mukakale and got a deserved yellow card, I would suggest.
Well, it's a goal kick, as we tell you. Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier, the USL Championship. From the grassroots to the pros, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select, as always, is the player's choice. Toch and Rodriguez bundle into each other there. It's a foul. It's a Lexington free kick. Once again, Aaron Malloy stands over this. Already has 2 assists tonight. Both, of course, on Lexington's set-piece goals. Plays this one short for Firmino. Malloy's early ball into the middle. It was headed down in the end, and Fondes collects on the back end as Arturo Ordonez was the initial target.
We just wonder what subs are going to come on in the next sort of 5 to 10 minutes already. Obviously, one on each side, but Looking at the bench for Lexington, there's be some tired legs with extra man down. You're going to be doing a little bit of added running. So Malik Henry-Scott, Tariq Scott, both scored goals against Tampa Bay in the last match. So you bring a little bit of fresh legs, a bit of pace up front, and see if you can push Lou City onto the back foot. Of course, for the boys in purple, you've got Manny Perez is now fit. You could bring him down that right-hand side if you want to give Sam Cleedle a break. Ray Serrano up front. But you would think that Lou City, the boys in purple, look pretty good at the moment. So don't see too many tired legs. Lambert maybe hasn't had a lot of football. Certainly could think to bring him off if you wanted to. Again, all the time it's 2-2. It's a dangerous score for Lou City. Just one moment. Lexington, if they can just keep it like this for the last sort of 5-10 minutes and then go forward and score, maybe from another set piece. They've got 2 already from set pieces. That could be their game plan, and if you're Lou City, you want to get this extra goal cushion.
Morris from the throw. Throws it right into the heart of the 6. The header is down and cleared away by the goal scorer Rodriguez. And Morris does so well there. Holds off 2 challengers, gets the ball back for Louisville, and is fouled by Malloy to win a free kick.
It's important for the captain here. He's got to keep driving his team forward the whole time. Such a good passer of a ball. And we saw both the goals came from his free kick in his corner, Aaron Malloy. But as a captain, you've got an added role to play here, and that's to manage the game, help manage the game for the other players. And when you're a player down playing against a wonderful Lou City side, there's a lot of talking and cajoling and organizing to do.
Louisville back on the front foot. Duncan plays a wonderful ball. Oh, and the shot smashes off the crossbar. And then Wilson scores on the follow-up. Another moment of chaos in what's been a chaotic Commonwealth clash tonight. But as we hit the hour, Louisville are back in front thanks to Jansen Wilson picking up the pieces.
What a player this man is. That's his 2nd goal of this game. Top goal scorer in the Prinx Tires USL Cup. That one there thumps against the crossbar before Jansen Wilson finishes it off. So they came very close already, Lou City. But good, powerful shot. The defender tries to get a foot and it can't. And Oliver Samley tries to reach the ball and he can't either. So Jansen Wilson has now given Lou City that cushion they want. Lexington now need 2 goals to make it through to the quarterfinals of the USL Cup.
2 goals and an assist tonight for Jansen Wilson through an hour's worth of work. And you do wonder if that's the goal that maybe knocks Lexington out.
It would take one hell of a comeback from here for Lexington to go through. Got to score 2 goals. They're a man down, and they have been outplayed in the second half. Can they get back into this match?
And Lou City goals brought to you by Fireball. Aridokun settles that down initially. Zenge, who's already scored tonight, lays it back off towards him. Aridokun again. Jacob Green unleashes the shot, but the deflection took a lot of the sting out of it, and Danny Fondes makes the catch. What a game.
Brilliant.
What a game this has been.
Brilliant game. Still think the Philip Goodrum red card was a pivotal moment and really gave Lexington a mountain to climb, a mountain which now looks to be too big to climb. It would take, as I say, an amazing comeback. And they have been in some brilliant form. So again, if you can go to Tampa Bay and win 4-1, El Paso and win 4-1, why can't you come here and win 4-3? And that's what they would have to do. But Lou City, they just look so good at the moment. They look so solid, and the extra man difference makes it a very, very tricky situation. If Lexington start throwing bodies forward, they're going to get caught on the counter-attack, you would think.
Here comes Morris off the takeaway. Donovan lays it off for Taylor Davila. Big save from Semle. Trying to keep Lexington hanging around here in the cup.
This is the risk for Lexington. They have to try and play their way forward. Losing possession again.
Duncan into the middle. Tried to find Donovan. 2 cheap giveaways from Lexington, but they're not punished. Those last few moments, you almost feel that Louisville can smell some blood in the water here. One more, and they might feel that it's job done. But then Lambert turns the ball over here. Firmino for Epps on this near side. Can Lexington find another bit of a response? Malloy. Zenge. Stands it up into the middle. Oh, the overhead kick is missed in the end by Firmino. Malloy. Marcus Epps. Epps to the edge of the area here. Firmino not able to get away a shot. He was impeded. And now Donovan tries to lead Louisville forward, doesn't have the numbers, and checks it back down. You feel if it's going to happen for Lexington, those are the kind of moments they need to pounce on. A Louisville mistake, it leads, I should say, to a attempt up the other end, but one that they can't get a clean look on. Morris. Cross-field ball into the path of Gleedle, but it bounces out of play. It's going to be a Lexington throw. One that Green does get away from some of the pressure. Epps loses out to Toch here. Lambert follows up for Louisville. Oh, and then slides in. Kevin Lambert, did he get that wrong here for Lou City? Joshua Encarnacion has a moment to think about this. Well, is there a card, and is it going to be a certain color?
Let's have a closer look. Is there a lunge? Oh, his foot doesn't go up. I think it's a one mitigating factor. His foot's quite low down. Have a look there. It's on the ground. It does catch him, but I think it's, I would say, yellow, but...
It is a yellow,
it is
confirmed.
A yellow. Right. Lucky man, though, but yes, I think a yellow is probably a fair decision to be made. Now, the only question is, Chris Donovan's on a yellow, and now Kevin Lambert is. Do you make substitutions and replace them at some stage? Get them off the pitch?
Alpha Energy Solutions, yellow card. Lexington are making a few changes here. It's like 3 total substitutions here. So Malik Henry Scott, Tyreek Scott, and Joe Hafferty are all in for Lexington here. Rodriguez, Epps, and Ordonez all make way for Mac Hemi. Kentucky Lottery substitutions here. Lexington now have 1 left. So they try to get some fresh legs on to try and handle the remainder as they look to try and come back. And again, Lexington have to come back and win the game. Even coming back and getting a point won't matter. Even a shootout win doesn't matter for Lexington. They have to win in the 90 minutes or they are out. It's one back by Malloy for Hafferty, his first touch since coming in. Getting Scott involved now for Mino. And a full reset for Malloy. Now Jacob Green. And Green gives the ball away at the vital moment. And it's given back to Firmino for Lexington. Green. Adedokun. Aaron Malloy. Firmino. Hafferty lays it off. Malloy again pulling the strings here. Derek Scott. Cross is deflected. Headed out to the edge of the area. Malloy couldn't get a shot away. Lambert's ball away. Recycled for Brown. Back in by Green. Deflected. Lexington corner.
That's good pressure coming from Lexington. And here is Simon Bird lining up those changes we thought we might get. Fresh legs coming on. The only question is it going to involve players on yellow cards coming off? Chris Donovan and Kevin Lambert, which I think would make sense because the referee having given one side a red card, sometimes you feel that they want to even things up. They don't do it consciously, of course.
The ball in by Malloy. Oh, critical header on that from Lambert. And Lexington will get a second try at the corner.
Danny Faunder started coming for that corner and then had to backtrack a little bit. He struggled with crosses in the air. There's been these set pieces that they've scored from. He's come for a cross and missed one very early in the game. So I think from Lexington's point of view, they're putting a lot of bodies around Danny Faunder to try and pressurize the keeper.
Well, Aaron Malloy has 2 assists from set pieces already tonight. Can he conjure up another here to give Lexington some hope? Still 20 minutes plus stoppage time left. Malloy whips in the ball. Again, Lambert. He's there to head it away, only as far as Adedokun. Green not on the same page with Hafferty, and it's going to go out for a goal kick. And now Louisville will go into their reserves here. Manny Perez, Evan Davila, Tolo Shawanmi, all entering for Louisville. You mentioned, Gary, that some of the yellow cards might come off the ledger. Well, both of them will, with these changes from Simon Bird. So Shawanmi, Evan Davila, and Manny Perez come in for Sam Gleadle, Kevin Lambert, and Chris Donovan. Donovan and Lambert were on the yellows, and now they're both on the bench.
Yeah, it seemed a sensible thing to do. You've got fresh legs on, no one on yellows. You can now have those tackles without being too worried that the referee might have to give out a second yellow.
Here is Morris. Morris with the early ball. It's cut out. Perez with the pressure there. Green dwelled on it, but finds Firmino. And then a foul and a free kick. Well, soccer season is here. SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site. SeatGeek is your ticket to great seats. Malloy up ahead. Hafferty. Malloy. Back for Hafferty, now Firmino. Scott. Trying to cut in field. He's stopped in his tracks by Morris, and that allows Louisville to clear their lines. Oh, and it's an awkward ball played back here. Zemle! Oh, did he clear? No, it's going to go in. Oh! Louisville somehow force another one over the line. Surely that ends any chance for Lexington in the cup. Louisville lead 4-2, and it appears that the boys from Lexington have pushed the self-destruct button here with another rough moment.
This is a real heartbreak for Lexington. There's no real pressure. That is such a heavy pass back to the goalkeeper. I don't think you can blame Oliver Semle there, but from Brown, he's hooked that ball with way too much power. Pressure coming from Jansen Wilson. I don't know if he's going to try and claim the assist because of the pressure he applied on Javane Brown, but maybe, yeah, he's annoyed with himself. You can see it's a situation where maybe you're better off hooking it away rather than trying to find your goalkeeper if under that sort of pressure. But I'm afraid to say for Lexington, that pretty much has put this game to bed. They would now need 3 goals to proceed through to the quarterfinals of the Prinx USL Cup, and I don't see that happening in the last 17 minutes plus any added time, given that they're also a man down. It really has been a case of shooting themselves in the foot with an own goal and a red card.
Well, Detroit City have won their game away to Fort Wayne. It doesn't matter at this particular moment, and that's because Miami are home and hosed with a convincing victory over Sarasota Paradise. Detroit cannot catch Miami for that wild card spot. Forward Madison are leading 3-1 now, by the way, over Union Omaha, which in theory, if you ignore the current scoreline here, would have been helpful for Lexington. But now Mac Hemi's group need to score 3 in 15 minutes, a man light. Louisville, the 2026 USL Championship season very much underway. Be sure to head to Lynn Family Stadium to watch the most storied club in the league history take the pitch by purchasing tickets now. Tickets are available at louiscity.com/tickets. Wilson out wide from Morris. Duncan does keep the ball in play. The cross into the middle is for Tola. Show on me! Oh, it's cleared off the line. Louisville try to pick up the pieces on the back end. Wilson recycles it for Adams. Well, fans, it's time to vote for tonight's Lynn Family Vision Man of the Match. Poll will be open for the next 10 minutes. Go to the Lou City app to vote now.
I don't think it's going to be a difficult vote. I think it's going to be pretty much all one-sided towards a particular player who's,
I think so,
got a couple of goals to his name already in this match.
And an assist.
And an assist. It really has turned out to be a fairly dominant performance by Lou City. And it might not have been that case, but I'll tell you more in a moment.
Manny Perez into the middle. Oh, Wilson had another chance. Skewered it wide. Trying to complete a USL Cup hat trick. Adams. Days lays it off. Davila. And Louisville don't really have to push forward here if they don't want to. Time is very much on Louisville's side. Show on me though. A push and a chase. Past Zenge. Cuts back on Zenge into the middle looking for Duncan. And Duncan took a big swing at it, bounces it in. Zemle collects.
I was just saying a moment ago that it could have been so different. And I think the red card, don't want to harp on about it too much, but it just was a turning point. They were 2-1 up at that stage, Lexington, and looking like they were had a great opportunity. And then the red card, and then all of a sudden, or was it 1-1 at that stage, and they were 2-1 down and they were chasing the game. The red card seemed to really impact on them. And again, the error from Javane Brown has come because they're pushing forward and perhaps has taken their eye off the game. They're trying to chase the game a little bit. This is still a Lexington side who've improved so much in recent times, and I'm sure they will learn a lot from this match, and I wouldn't be surprised if they work their way up that table in the West. I think they are confidently a top 4 side in the West and could go on to have a fantastic season, but it looks like this is going to be a bit of a heartbreak of a night for them.
Green in behind and bounces out of play. Now Louisville ticket packages for the 2026 season are now live. Join the boys in purple all year long with season tickets starting at just $15 per game. Visit louiscity.com now to learn more.
Just to add to the pain for Lexington, they lose out on the Commonwealth Cup, and it's now 6 games against Lou City and they haven't won any of them. So the rivalry hasn't really taken off. I think Mac Hemi, when he was chatting to us, says we need a result against them because it's not a rivalry if they keep winning. We need to get a result. We need it to be a close game, and for a long while it was a close game. It hasn't turned out to be that way in the end, and that's a real disappointment for Mac Hemi, I'm sure. But Lexington look like they are just becoming a better and better side as the season goes on.
Now Louisville are going to make a change here. That is going to be it for Jansen Wilson. He'll get a nice reception on his way off. 2 goals, 1 assist. Another Kentucky Lottery substitution. Quincy Hewerman takes his place. Another memorable night in Jansen Wilson's Louisville career. Of course, Louisville fans will remember that Louisville won the Commonwealth Cup last year as well. So at the moment, barring a miraculous comeback, they will retain the cup. That was the first bit of business tonight. The bigger thing at stake was a place in the knockout rounds of the USL Cup. Of course, Louisville were so close to being one of those wild card teams last year. Hartford beat them to, at the time, the 2nd wild card. And Louisville missed out on the knockout stages a year ago. If this holds, Louisville will play a quarterfinal in Prinx Tire's USL Cup for the first time.
I think it would be a massive confidence booster for the boys in purple and for Simon Bird as well, because when we chatted to Danny Cruz at the start of the year and to Simon himself, and they were saying we're such trouble.
Oh, Semle again. Nearly put himself in another really difficult spot. He is able to find an escape route somehow.
Well, the 3 players, the 3 ex-Louisville players, just really haven't had a great day, have they? One of them gets a red card, Goodrum. Ordonez is subbed, and Oliver Semle has seen an own goal go in and nearly had that taken off his toes. But just to finish that point, Danny Cruz was saying to us that we had such an incredible season last 2 seasons, and we didn't win the main trophies. They won the Players' Shield, but they didn't win the championship. They didn't win the USL Cup. I think they want to get into cup finals. They want to be on the gritty end of winning trophies, and now they're going to be in a quarterfinal, again, barring something crazy happening here. And I think the players and Simon Bird will get a lot of confidence, a lot of excitement from that.
Adams wins the header for Duncan. It's played ahead. This is Quincy Hewerman, who has scored in the cup already this season. Tried to poke that over the top. It's going to be a goal kick. Well, if you can't watch the match, turn on Sirius XM-FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights, plus your live matches from the USL, MLS Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM-FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
We're just trying to find some positive news for Lexington fans, but the next, or 4 of the next 5 games are at home. And given the great form they've been in, there's no reason why they can't put a huge run and get up that table in the West. They've got New Mexico at home, Oakland at home, then they're away at FC Tulsa, then Monterey Bay at home, and Phoenix Rising at home. And I wouldn't be surprised if you and I are chatting in 4, 5, 6 weeks' time and Lexington are right up there in the top 4. There's only, I think, 3 points separating 9th from 3rd in the West. So if they win a few of those games, they could be right up there in 2nd, 3rd, or 2nd place, which I think would be fantastic for this Lexington soccer club.
Big development in the other game going on between Madison and Omaha in this group. Union Omaha have come back and tied the game. They were 3-1 down. It's now 3-3 in the 84th minute. There's still time left. That's a big deal, because if Omaha can win that game, they would get up to 9 points and they could be in the mix for a wild card spot. So we're keeping an eye on that as the night continues on here.
Oh, that would be a great achievement from a League One side, Union Omaha, if they could get the wild card in. It's been a tough group. I mean, they've got Detroit in this group, Lexington, Lou City. So to beat teams of that quality, well, not that they've beaten Lou City as such, but to be right up there with teams of that quality is very impressive.
They did beat Indy earlier in USL Cup play as well, Union Omaha. They won by 2-1 in Indianapolis as well. November, July 18th, CBS. It's a Saturday. USL Championship Eastern Conference clash. The champions Pittsburgh, the Players Shield winners Louisville. 2 elite clubs on the massive stage. Noon Eastern on CBS. Circle the date, July 18th. That'll be a foul and a free kick for Louisville, just inside of their own half. That Pittsburgh game away is what's next for Louisville. Then they host Birmingham Legion. And then August 1st, talk about circling a date on your calendar, Louisville goes to Tampa Bay.
Wow. It's going to be some game. Don't they have a match as well against Trinidad and Tobago?
That's right. That is also part of the upcoming fixtures as well. Well, you voted on the Lou City app, and you voted for Jansen Wilson, man of the match. No surprise there.
No surprise. Just a brilliant game all round. 2 goals and the assist. You go back to the Hartford match, comes on as a sub, gets the winning goal and hits the post. He's top goal scorer at Lou City. He's top goal scorer in the USL Cup. I mean, and he plays out wide. He doesn't actually play as a number 9 striker getting on the end of things. He plays out wide as more as a winger, and still has those numbers. It's just absolutely brilliant.
We're told Lexington are preparing their final change. We'll get to that in a moment. And 2 goals and an assist for Jansen Wilson. Goal for Chris Donovan along the way as well. Sam Gleedle's gotten an assist tonight for Louisville. And then, of course, the Brown own goal, which has given Louisville daylight here towards the end. But that's a decent ball in. Adams wins the initial header for Louisville. Toch heads it down for Fondes, who was ready for it.
Now you can just sense there's a lack of sort of excitement or desire from Lexington. I mean, of course, they're giving their best. I'm not suggesting that. But if they needed 1 goal, they'd be throwing everything into the box. but they know that there's almost no chance of getting 3 goals in the time it's left. So this was this air of resignation that they're going to try and they're going to knock the ball around, but they're not going to break a leg to try and do anything here because the game is pretty much gone from them.
Should clarify as well, as far as the Commonwealth Cup being decided tonight, Louisville won away to Lexington. The Open Cup game doesn't come into a factor as the flag goes up on this near side. Looks like it's gone Louisville's way. Lexington would have had to win by 2 goals tonight to win the Commonwealth Cup on aggregate. So that's why Louisville, as it stands, are not only going to claim the cup for a 2nd year running in the Derby, but they're going to win Group 4 and advance onto the next round as well. It's a Kentucky lottery substitution here for Lexington, the last one they can make. Marcus Muir is going to come in. And that is going to be it for Xavier Zenge, who did have a nice goal off a set piece at the end of the first half. It felt like a big moment at that particular juncture of the game. But then Louisville came out in the second half, and my goodness, have they handled their business. Here is Manny Perez looking for Quincy Hewerman. It's headed away. Adeno Kuhn picks it up for Lexington. 2 minutes plus stoppage time left. Adeno Kuhn off the reverse feed. Trying to play that into the middle. A whistle's going to stop the play as there was a coming together away from the play. Evan Davila is going to receive a yellow card for Louisville, and I believe that Lexington are going to get a free kick off the back of that.
Let's try and see what happened here, because there's no need for Evan Davila to get too involved. It's on the far side there. It's hard to see exactly what happened. A little bit of pushing going on.
A yellow card for Evan Davila is confirmed. And another whistle is going to stop the play, and the attack for Lexington, it appears, has fizzled out. You said it earlier, Gary. It's going to be 6 out of 6 for Louisville in the Derby, and they are very much taking that in right now.
Yeah, it's a domination of this Commonwealth Cup to win away and win at home, and they beat them in the Cup. That's 3 times they've met this year, 3 wins for Lou City. I think if you're Lexington, it's quite irritating to not even be close. And Commonwealth Cup is gone for this year, but I've got a sense that next year there's going to be a lot different approach from Lexington. They're really going to be fired up to try and eventually get one over on Lou City.
Another moment away from the play here. Tola Shawanmi picks up a yellow card as we head into stoppage time. It's brought to you by the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. There's 3 added minutes to go in the Commonwealth Cup clash. Adeno Kuhn plays it out to the far side, and again it's easily picked off by Jake Morris. He's had a really good night.
He has, hasn't he? You sort of forget about him because everyone's talking about Jansen Wilson, but he's done well, and Sam Gleedle on the other right wing-back position. I thought the 2 of them were absolutely excellent today in so many ways.
Felt like Lexington multiple times kept throwing 2 players at Jake Morris. He just swatted them away. Really impressive. Hold up play there. Excellent from Tola Shawanmi. Perez then does well to stick a boot in there to keep Louisville on it with about 2 minutes to go.
There's a little bit of possession here to wind down the clock. The match has been over for the last sort of 15 minutes, in fairness, and I think both teams knew that, but for Lexington, got to keep going, got to try and limit the damage as well. The last thing you want is for it to get any worse, so they've had to keep fighting here.
Adedokun cutting in field and forcing a really good save out of Fondes. Out for a Lexington corner.
That's a decent shot, lots of power. It was fairly straight at the goalkeeper. I think he sort of dived in the end just because there's a lot of power and he sort of threw his body at the power. Very spectacular, but again, he's had a few shots. The few shots he has had today, Danny Fondes has been pretty much at him. No chance for the goals. Lots of headers from close in, from set pieces that didn't have time to react to.
From the corner, oh, it's headed and blocked and cleared by Kyle Adams. Malloy quickly gets it back into play. Can Lexington at least get a consolation here at the end with 10 on the pitch? Adedokun. Malloy could not find Firmino. That should just about do it. Referee looks at the watch. 3 minutes are up. Malloy tries to serve that forward. Was Shoanmi fouled? Yes. Free kick for Louisville. That's the challenge that comes in from Brown. Ooh, and then a little bit of a moment away from the play again here that Joshua Encarnacion has to take a brief look at before blowing for full time. Louisville conquer the Commonwealth yet again. Lou City beat Lexington for a 6th time running in all competitions. They win by 4-2 in order to claim a berth into the knockout stages of Prinx Tire's USL Cup. They claim the Commonwealth Cup for a 2nd year running, and they send their rivals back up I-64 with another loss as they win it by 4-2.
Fantastic win by Lou City, just dominant throughout. There is the cup, the Commonwealth Cup. Tough day at the office for Lexington. It looked so good early on when they took the lead. The red card to Philip Goodwin really did seem to swing things in Lou City's favor. The fans are loving the domination over their local rivals there, and now they go to the quarterfinals, Lou City, and a chance for some silverware. And that man Jansen Wilson in picture there, what a game he has had and has had all season. He's just been absolutely brilliant for the boys in purple. Maybe he can take them all the way to the final.
Well, this will be the first bit of silverware that Louisville get their hands on this season. They retain the Commonwealth Cup, so they keep their crest up top of the Commonwealth Cup itself that they will lift here in just a few moments. But of course, it is Lou City. They have higher expectations than that. They'll feel that now they've broken through and they've gotten into a quarterfinal of Prinx Tire's USL Cup, that they can go on and win it. And in the meantime, of course, they'll also wait to see who they're drawn against in that quarterfinal, while also trying to make up ground in the Eastern Conference of the USL Championship with the likes of Tampa Bay, Charleston, Detroit, and others all vying for the top spots and hopefully home playoffs at the end of the season. Of course, Jansen Wilson, the star for Louisville tonight, 3 goal-scoring contributions, 2 goals, 1 assist, as Louisville again beats Lexington in the Commonwealth Cup for a 3rd time this season and for a 6th time overall in all competitions. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back to wrap it all up as Louisville beats Lexington by 4-2.
Relax and let Kroger Pickup handle your grocery shopping this week. We start with only the freshest items, then choose your favorites. Carefully pack everything up and load it right into your trunk, so you can feel confident it's what you ordered. Fresh groceries your way with Kroger Pickup and Delivery. And right now, you can save $20 on your first pickup or delivery order. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
All across America. Celebrate America with America's best-selling car, Toyota Camry. And take your summer fun nearly 600 miles on a tank of gas. Built with pride in Kentucky since 1988, Camry was named Best Car for the Money for its low cost of ownership. Lease a new 26 Camry now for $319 a month, or get 5.99 APR financing. America drives Toyota Camry. Let's go places.
Relax and let Kroger Pickup handle your grocery shopping this week. We start with only the freshest items, then choose your favorites. Carefully pack everything up and load it right into your trunk, so you can feel confident it's what you ordered. Fresh groceries your way with Kroger Pickup and Delivery. And right now, you can save $20 on your first pickup or delivery order. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Sean St. Jacques, Gary Bailey here with you. Louisville wins the Commonwealth Cup over Lexington, and they book a place into the knockout stages of Prinx Tire's USL Cup. Louisville win by 4-2 over Lexington. They've now beaten Lexington in 6 straight derbies. It's the status quo remaining just that in this Commonwealth Cup fixture. We go back through the main moments from the game. A lot of crazy and chaotic moments, frankly, in the 90 minutes. We pick things up in the 13th minute. Lexington taking the lead through Rodriguez.
That's a good header. He's not marked tightly enough from this corner, and it was a fantastic start from Lexington, dominating the first 15 minutes, and really looked like there was going to be an upset on the cards.
Then a little bit later on, Louisville would find the response. It's the move of the game presented by Toyota. Gleedle to Wilson to level the score.
Beautiful ball in, and Wilson just angles his foot perfectly to see it in the back of the net, but Taylor Davila here with the ball down the line. And just keep an eye here on Sam Gleedle. Head up again, and just looking all the time to see where that run of Jansen Wilson's is, so you can put that ball right on his foot.
Key moment in the game. Philip Goodrum on a yellow card, picks up a second yellow card, gets sent off.
And he led with the elbow as well. It was a silly tackle, and from that moment onwards, they were in all sorts of trouble, Lexington. Space for Chris Donovan here as they were trying to reorganize themselves, and he tucks that in, that near post past Oliver Semle. Good finish. And all of a sudden, they were back on top, Lou City.
Then Lexington with 10 would equalize through Xavier Zenge before halftime.
Poor marking again from a set piece for Lou City. Good header from Zenge on the 6-yard line, and you're thinking, wow, Lexington fighting back with just 10 men, but second half it was all Lou City.
Really wild sequence here. Eventually it leads to Jansen Wilson's second goal of the night.
Well, that one thumps against the crossbar, and then they're still quickest to react. Jansen Wilson turns, hits it low, and goes past the defender, past Oliver Semle, and that pretty much was game, set, and match for Lou City. And they've been on top all second half. They looked really, really good, and then they were able to break away. This one, a little bit of an embarrassing situation.
A moment to forget. Javane Brown not on the same page with Semle. Lexington pay the price.
Now it's overhit. When it's just a long boot up the pitch, but Javane Brown turns, and look how he hits it here. Puts a lot of pace and power on it. It's nowhere near the goalkeeper, so bad back pass, and not much the goalkeeper can do about it.
4-2, final score. Louisville beats Lexington again to claim a spot in the quarterfinals of USL Cup, and they win the Commonwealth Cup as well. Group 4 live table looks like this. Louisville wins the group. That's confirmed. They're on to the quarterfinals. They wait to see who they will play. Nobody else gets out of this group. Detroit had the chance with the wild card in theory, but not only are Miami on 9 points and they've already won, Birmingham Legion are on 9 points as well. There's only one wild card spot. That means Detroit and everyone down from there is out. Louisville wins.
Well done, Lou City, and delighted to see them go through and have a chance at some silverware. For Lexington, 4 of the next 5 are at home. They're in great form. Tonight's been a bit of a bump in the road, but expect to see them bounce back at home and shoot their way up the table in the west of the USL.
Certainly, it's one of the best Commonwealth clashes we've seen to date. Louisville and Lexington went blow for blow, particularly in the first half, but Louisville wins the Commonwealth Cup, and they win their group in USL Cup to advance to the next round. We say goodnight from Kentucky as Louisville wins it by 4-2.